Before we start on the Parshah, the Baal Shem Tov, I'll give you over a couple of important ideas that we should have regarding this month and Hanukkah in general. Since we only meet once a week, so let me give it to you now. There is a famous Mekubal called Rav Chaim Falaji. That was his name. About 300 years ago, he was very much influenced by the Arizal. And there's a Masorah, I try to find it even on the internet, where it's written black and white. I could not find, and they said that they don't have any svarim that they know where it's written, but they have this tradition which is handed down Baal Peh about this month. And the first thing he said is that this month is a month where you have to emphasize Hodaya. Meaning to say, since we say at the end of the month, Al Hanisim, and we're molded to Kodesh Baruch Hu about the great days that happened, that the Kohanim who went into the Beis HaMikdash, they found one can of oil, and that one can was for one day. That's all it could last. The Goyim mutilated all the other oils, and they spilled them out, or they were matama them. They only found one can of oil, and that can lasted one day on Al Pi Teva, according to natural. That's what they used to do every day. They used to take another can of oil, but this can lasted 8 days. So we are very grateful to Kodesh Baruch Hu, and we are saying Modim and NACHLAOT on the great nace, showing that the Kodesh Baruch Hu is happy that we came back to the Beis HaMikdash, and he's willing to show that his happiness by making this nace. So he says it only applies to Hanukkah? No, it applies to the entire month. And therefore, during the month of Kislev, starting on Friday, Rosh Chodesh, you have to be very, very careful to put extra emphasis on every opportunity that you have to say Hodaya. We have that opportunity daily, at least 3 times a day. You say Modim and NACHLAOT in Shachris Mincha Ma'ariv. You say Mizmor L'Soda in Psukei Zimra, and all the Halalukas really are some kind of Hodaya also. So you have to put extra emphasis on this month, on the union of Hodaya. And of course in Modim and NACHLAOT and Birchas HaMazon, no Delachah, the second bracha is all Hodaya. So you have to put a lot of emphasis on Hodaya in the month of Kislev. Number 1. Number 2, a very, very interesting thing that he says. This is not so easy, but it's a very good idea all year long, but especially now. If a person will be very careful from Rosh Chodesh, now the Lashon says up until Chanukah, at Chanukah, but I would imagine it means including Chanukah as well. Be very careful with what? Not to complain. Not to complain. It means not to criticize things that you see that are wrong at home, in shul, your friends, and you see things are not the way they're supposed to be. So what's the normal reaction? Why'd you do that? That's not the way to behave. You have, some kind of critical statement to make. Says Rabbi Chaim Falaji, if you can refrain from saying that in the form of a complaint from now until Chanukah, you have a guarantee that during the year sometime, a personal miracle, a nace, you will have this close to have such a nace happen to you. But I said that over to a couple of people. They say, how could, but if I make a complaint, I'm doing it to make some kind of constructive, intention by saying the complaint. You should improve. I says yes, but it all depends on how you say it. Instead of saying, "Why are you doing that? That's not right," say it in a positive way. Wouldn't it be better to do it this way? You don't have to make it in the form of a complaint or a criticism. You can always say it in a positive way, and it has the same effect. And especially if we follow the Ramban, there's a famous letter that Ramban wrote to his son. And in that letter he says, Kol Dvarecha Yu B'Nachas. Kol Dvarecha Yu B'Nachas. I had this course. My wife's grandfather, Baruch Hashem, I had this course to meet him. I never heard the person raise his voice. Never. And he had a wife. She was very, very, was a very difficult person. She was always, insistent on this and that. No matter what, what she said, he never raised his voice. Now, people raise their voice because they want to make sure the other person hears what they have to say. Not because they want to just, get their voice loud. They want to make sure the other person's saying something. But you want to make sure that what you're saying goes into the other person. So you raise your voice, you make it louder. Ramban says, Kol Dvarecha Yu B'Nachas. Always say things in a calm way. And I had to switch to see a person live that way. My wife's grandfather, and I visited him in Bnei Brak, and that's exactly the way he was. No matter what happened around him, whatever he had to say, always said it in a very calm way, B'Nachas.
Kol Demama Daka.
Huh?
The Kol Demama Daka.
Okay, say it. Say it. So that goes along very well with what we just said before about not making a criticism. If you say something in a positive way, that's much easier to say that B'Nachas than to complain and criticize something. And it bothers you, so you're complaining about it. Why are you doing this? Well, say it in a positive way. Why don't you try doing it this way? Okay. That's the second thing. Yes. Okay. The third thing was you have to be very careful when Hanukkah comes. It's always a good idea, but especially during the Hanukkah lighting the menorah. Now, there are many people, we have to do it for 8 days. Very often you hear from people's comments, I have to light Hanukkah left. I have to light Hanukkah left. What do you mean you have to light Hanukkah left? When you say you have to do something, that's a yoke on you in some way. It's some kind of obligation that you feel you have to fulfill. That's not the way to go about lighting the candles. It should be done b'simcha, something that you're looking forward to. You want to show your appreciation, you want to show your gratitude. And you should be looking forward to doing such a thing to publicize the nes. Publicize the nes, let everybody see. And today we have that going on now. This is a special, since October 7th, there's a special historic going on. A lot of the people who were down there at the October 7th celebration, which was Simchas Torah, but there was all kinds of, unfortunately, immoral things going on down there on October 7th. A lot of them, people with tattoos all over their bodies, are proudly putting on tefillin. Proudly putting on tefillin. And this is a wonderful thing. They're doing it, and they're letting it be filmed and on camera. And this is the way we have to do the Hanukkah's name is Hanukkah, with a pride, with a simcha. Actually, we say it every single day in Mizbah Soda. We say, if do as Hashem b'simcha, our service to Hashem should not be done as something which we're obliged to do, which we must do, even though it's true. But we also have to realize the positive side. It's a great, great privilege that we have to be able to do all these things. We're making a tikkun olam. We don't know how much we're benefiting not only ourselves, we're benefiting our descendants, our family. Everything a person does has a worldwide influence. We don't see it, but it has a worldwide influence. Everything that a person does is part of the world. And if you do something part of it, positive, you influence the entire world. And the closer people are to you, the more the influence is felt. But you have to do it therefore with a simcha, realizing you're doing a good thing for yourself and doing a good thing for others. Therefore, that's the feeling that you should have to have. And be thankful that you have the ability to do it. Imagine, I was just recently in the hospital. I saw what's going on in all the rooms and those people would dance to be able to come out and light Hanukkah lamp at their home without any problems, any medical problems. So be happy that you have the ability to light, and you're healthy, and you can do it, and it's a very important thing. Okay. The last thing is a little bit difficult. You don't have paper. Sorry, I didn't bring paper for you. Are there any paper here? Is there any paper around here? No? It's a Chabad.
What's this for?
I want you to write down something that you could either use on a daily basis with a picture of this.
Do you want me to send this to you, Mordecai?
Yes, please.
Okay.
I have a pen to
Then we'll put it on the recording.
We copy it. These two three lines. These things that I copy it. Make a picture.
Very good.
I have here. I don't have it. Yeah, you said that to me.
And I'll explain what this.
Send it on WhatsApp.
I'll explain what this is. Every month of the year has a Shem Hashem, which is for that particular month. Every month of the year. Now, the month of Kislev is Aleph Lamed and Aleph Daled Nun Yud. Right? The month of Kislev. The Shemos of Hashem, every month, there are 12 months a year, every month has a different combination of Shemos which are powering that month. So this month is powered by these two Shemos, Aleph Lamed and Agni, Aleph Daled Nun Yud, those two, or El Hashem, so to speak, El Hashem. So the Mefarshim say that the word Aleph Lamed is the Shem of Chesed. And we want that name, the name of Chesed, to be expanded and to be, I would say, in greater volume and greater quantity. So what we do with the Aleph Lamed is we spell it out. And Aleph is spelled Aleph Lamed Pei. Aleph. A Lamed is Lamed Mem Dalet. Lamed. So we take the Aleph Lamed, Kale, and we expand it, giving that Shem, the Midah of Chesed, greater influence, greater impact. We want this month to have greater impact of the Midah of Chesed. And therefore, we expand the Aleph Lamed to Aleph Lamed Pei with the Nakudas underneath them. Those are the Nakudas for the Spheros. Okay, that's not so important. But when you say it over, I'll tell you in a minute what to do. Now, the word Adni, the last one, Aleph Daled Nun Yud, that is the Midah of Din. So in Kislev, there is a combination of Chesed and Din, but the Chesed is first, and it's expanded, it's more powerful, but the Din still exists. So what a person should do is, every single day, during davening, let's say before you end this Shemona Esrei, in the schus of these two names, we should have a lot of Chesed. Forget about the din. It'll be, without you saying anything about it, it's going to be there anyway. We want to have a lot of chesed. So you say, exactly as the Nekudas are, O, La, Fe, Le, Mo, Da, and then the last one, E, De, No, Ya. You just say those at the end of Shemona Esrei, and say before you go, also Shalom Ben Morach, in the schus of these names, we should have a lot of chesed this month. So this is a good thing for the entire month of Kislev, and I wanted to get all these things out to you before we start on the Baal Shem Tov. Any
Why
questions?
is this the punctuation?
Excuse me?
Why is this the punctuation under the letters? Aleph I can understand.
Aleph in the commas is kesed.
Yes, I can understand, but Lemada and
It goes in order. Commas, patach, tzera. That's kesed, chochma, bina.
yeah.
The next one is chesed. That's it. Chesed is the lamed. Then again you start. Komatz, patach, bina. In that order. Understand? Kesed, chochma, bina, chesed. Those are the four that I mentioned. Kesed, chochma, bina. Those four nekudos, and they are underneath those letters. That's all. Is that clear to everybody? Any questions? With the question?
Yeah, the last line is Aleph, Dalet,
Nun Yud. Yeah, that's A de no ya. A de no ya. So before you finish Mona Esrei, it's 3 times a day. To say, see, in your course, I forgot myself to do it this morning. So now it's because I will remember now for Mincha Mitzvah. We do it every single day. There's been, in the course of these 2 Shemos, there'll be a lot of chesed this month. Okay, that's all. All right.
So what about the Ness?
Halavai should be Nisim also. All right. Okay. All right. We start on Parshas Vayeitzei.
My Ofruk.
Okay. Mazel tov. Yeah. Vayeitzei Yaakov and Bereshit v'yelech Korona. So Yaakov was told to leave Bereshit and go to Haran. He didn't get into his car and travel. In those days, traveling was dangerous. If you traveled on horse, on a donkey, or you had a wagon of some kind, and it took a lot of time to go from Bereshit to Haran. The Midrash says the following: the Baal Shem Tov brings the Midrash in the beginning of Parshas Vayeitzei. It said the following: Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman Pasach. Shir Lamalos, Esta Einai El HaHorim, which we're all familiar with, that capital of Tillim. Me'ayim Wazu. You ever think what that means? Esta Einai El HaHorim. I'll lift up my eyes to the mountains. Lift up my mind to the mountains. What do you mean, lift up my mind to the mountains? I don't even know the reason why it says that, but the word Horim and the word Horim, parents or teachers, are the same letters. Horim and Horim. Horim are mountains. And I lift my eyes up to the mountains. Maybe it means that, I don't know why David Miller said it that way. It requires understanding. Why I could say, Esa Einai El Hashem. That's why I lift my eyes up to Hashem. Why to the mountains?
Do they say the mountains represent the patriarchs of the Avot a lot of times?
Well, it could be. I mean, I have to see what the Mepharshim say. But anyway, the Midrash says, Esa Einai El HaHorim. He changes it in the Midrash to Darshan, not Horim mountains, but Horim. The Horim either means parents or teachers. Those people who teach me, those people who train me. Because my parents train me, they bring me up. Me'ayin yavo Ezri, where is my help going to come from? Now listen to this, Rabbi. I'm going to tell you something and finish. The translate, besides what the Midrash says, Me'ayin yavo Ezri, translated into simple Hebrew, means, from where is my help going to come? Me'ayin yavo Ezri. Al pi Kabbalah, the word ayin means nothing. Ein od milvado. I mean, when someone would say, may ayin yavo Ezri, my help is going to come from ayin, from Hashem, who is not describable. The word ayin means nothing. My help is going to come from nothingness, from Hashem. Not me'ayin, from where, which is a literal translation of the word, but a Kabbalistic, Hasidic translation of the word is ayin, means from Hashem that is indescribable. Me'ayin yavo Ezri, from the highest echelons of existence. That is where my help is going to come from. Me'ayin yavo Ezri. And look at the next sentence. Ezri me'im Hashem. Oseh Shemayim v'aretz. He leaves the word ayin and he goes down to Yud Kei Vav Kei. Ezri me'im Hashem, Oseh Shemayim v'aretz. What does that mean? It means that you don't get the help directly from ayin. He sends it down to a lower madrega, to Yud Kei Vav Kei, which is already something which is describable. It has letters that we're using. Ayin means from nothingness. There's no way to describe the existence of Hashem himself. From that's where it's really coming from. That's the source. But how is it going to get to me? It's going to get to me when he goes down the channels. He goes down to a lower form which is describable, and that is Yud Hey Vav Hey. Oisei Shemayim Haaretz. Me'ayin Yivo Ezri Me'im Hashem. I'm going to be helped from Hashem. Oisei Shemayim Haaretz. Okay. So I brought that out just there of Agav, which is to have more understanding into what you're saying when you say that capital of Tehillim. Say the capital of Tehillim, don't think only of the literal translation. Esa Einai Eloharim, I lift my eyes up to the mountains, and I think, where is it going to come from? So the answer is, Ezri B'yim Hashem. Don't think it's a question of where. You're making a statement. My help is going to come from nothingness, from the source of all energies, which can't be described. And he's going to send it to me through Hishem Hashem, Ezri B'yim Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei Oseh Shemayim Haaretz, who created the heaven and earth. Okay. So I just brought that up there at Agav. You should remember it every time you say that in Tehillim. Remember those Perushim I just told you. All right, now the Midrash brings this pasuk, and he says, "Es ein alaharim," the ones who taught me and the ones who trained me, my parents, my teachers. Me'ayin Yivo Ezri, Eliezer b'Shah Eliezer. The Midrash said Eliezer b'Shah shahalach lahaviyes Rivka. He went to bring Rivka back. He was sent to bring Rivka back to be a wife for Eliezer, the Evan of Avraham, went to bring Rivka back to be a wife for Yitzchak. So it says here, Eliezer b'Shosha halach lavi is Rivka maksiv bey vayikach ha'eved asara gimalin. He took with him all kinds of presents to persuade her to come, and you have a wealthy family that you're getting married into, and he took camels and all kinds of, wonderful things represented wealth in those days. So he took. V'ani, I, Yaakov, he's going to Bereshit, going to Haran. He's also wants to build a life now. V'ani, lo nezin echad v'lo tzemin echad. I don't have one nose ring, which they used in those days, and I don't have one bracelet even to give her. Well, how am I going to bring anybody back? How am I going to build a family? What am I convince her with? Some say he was sent with a group, and he was convincing you to come with a whole group. Okay. Some say that he did send things, but Esav took everything away. So Esav came penniless. Yaakov came penniless to Haran, and he has to bring back a wife. How is he going to get a wife to come? What is he going to show? Chazav Yama. So Yaakov Avinu said, "Ma'ana movid savrai min bari." Am I going to take away my bitachon in my Creator? I'm not going to have bitachon in Him. I was sent by my father to go there, so I'm going to do the mitzvah my father said, and have bitachon. Somehow it'll work out. No. Chas v'shalom. Chas v'shalom. Less than the movid savrai min bari. I'm not going to take away my bitachon from my Creator. Elo what? Ezri me'im Hashem. My Hashem is going to be my helper, and I'm going to be successful. This is what the Midrash says. Based on this Midrash, says the Baal Shem Tov on the Parshah. Vayeitzei Yaakov Bereshit Mechahana. So he just quotes the Midrash, Midrash Rechavia, the Omar. He said, "Am I going to lose my bitachon? I'm not going to lose my bitachon on Hashem. No, I'm not going to lose it. Ezri me'im Hashem Oseh Shemayim Haaretz." So the Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, who brings this pasuk, he says, "Shemaiti mimori." I heard from my Rebbe, the Baal Shem Tov. Listen to this, very interesting. Kishirotzim the parah ha'onesh l'mishu royal onesh. When min hashamayim they want to punish a person. Before they punish the person, azai notlen mimenu madregas habitachon. Somehow they make him lose his bitachon, and after he lost his bitachon, his kesher, his trust, his belief in Hashem, then they can punish him. Therefore, it says the Baal Shem Tov, Roy is pal nefanav yisbarach sheyitzchazek the bitachon bo, and therefore you're protecting yourself from all kinds of evil things that could happen to you. But this is a very important idea that we have to get used to. Now, I was brought up in the United States, in New York. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. My father worked for a living. He went to shul in the morning, came home, had some breakfast, went to work. He came back at night and he went to shul to daven minor mitzvah, okay. But the day was spent basically out of the world. That's the way most people spend their day. You look at me, I'm wearing my tefillin. Why am I wearing my tefillin? Why am I wearing my tefillin now? Nobody here is wearing tefillin. Why am I wearing my tefillin? You know why? Because the mitzvah of tefillin is all day long. It's not like, you put it on, you take it off. Most people in the world, like my father, like other people, you come home, I gave my donation to God. I went to shul in the morning, I davened and said, okay, I'm finished with God now. Now I get out into the world and take off my tefillin. I can't walk around doing work and meeting people with my tefillin on. So I take off my tefillin and go to work. That's the normal thing to do. I guess that's probably the correct thing to do. You have to meet all kinds of people, men, women, goyim, Jews. You can't walk around with your tefillin all day long. It's very uncomfortable. It doesn't fit. Because, of all the things you have to see, it's not like. But when you're not busy with the whole world, you don't have that yoke anymore. You don't have that distraction. Why shouldn't you be wearing your tefillin? Every second you're wearing your tefillin is another mitzvah. And I'm living right next door, and I have no one disturbing me, and I don't have to go out into the world. Why should I wear my tefillin? Especially during learning Torah. That's the best time to learn Torah. Every morning. I come home from shul, I eat breakfast, take off my tefillin, I put my tefillin back on after breakfast to give a shir. Why not? I don't understand why all of you shouldn't come to shir, put your tefillin on during the shir. You're not out in the world, you're not meeting women, you're not out with goyim. Why don't you sit here every second you have another mitzvah? Every second another mitzvah. In other words, what am I doing? I'm keeping up my connection, my dvekus to Kodesh Baruch Hu, as strong as I can do it. That's what I'm doing. My dvekus to Kodesh Baruch Hu, my trust in Hashem, my bitachon, my emunah, my connection to Hashem. I'm keeping it up as long as I can, as much as I can, at the highest level that I can. When they want to give a person an onesh, they take away that level, that connection, that distraction. That's what it says over here in the Midrash. That's what the Midrash said, what the Baal Shem Tov said. He said, when they want to punish a person, if he's attached to Hashem, they can't punish him. They can't punish him. They have to take away his bitachon first. Take away his level of attraction, of attachment to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You take that away, he's sort of left detached. Now we can punish him, give him the onus. But as long as he has that attachment, he's connected, he's protected.
Where does that connection come from? Is it just a matter of putting on tefillin and there's something supernatural that comes from the tefillin that changes us, or is it?
No, the tefillin is only a outward way of expressing it, the ma'aseh. But the connection really is here.
You say I've never taken off the tefillin and put it back on in a day. Do you say the brachas again, or do you?
If you had a hesed chadas, that means if you have completely cancel out the first mitzvah, I'm done with it. I want to do it again, then you do bracha. But if when you take it off, you have in mind that you're going to put it back on again, then you don't make a bracha the second time. Because when you took it off, you have in mind to put it back on.
Those who say to put on the Chabad, to make a bracha?
No.
Could you define bitachon for me?
Excuse me? Bitachon?
Yeah.
Well, the word bitachon, I would say, well, the word, let's take this word. How would you say for sure in Hebrew? Betach. Now you understand what it means. A feeling of security, a feeling of sureness with your connection to Hashem. Emunah is belief.
Right.
This is not belief. It's more of an attachment. But tuach, I feel connected. I feel sure that he's going to be with me. I'm attached to him. I'm with him. That's the word we're talking. Okay.
Also, we shouldn't wear tefillin while we're working, because aren't we supposed to keep our minds upon Hashem when we have tefillin?
At least in the back, if you have to, you're working, right? You're working. If you're working for an employer, you have to do your work with full he's paying you. So you have to put your full attention to the work. But in the back of your mind, you still have your tefillah. You know you're doing the kedusha. You're not doing it as stam, a person who's in the world workforce. I'm still a religious Jew attached to Hashem, even while I'm working. Aside from the tefillin, is a mitzvah to say Doraisa. It's mentioned 3 times in Devarim. The first time it's mentioned in the form of a tzivui, ubo tidbak. Ubo tidbak. You're supposed to be glued to Hashem. The word tidbak means to attach yourself. But the word devek means glue. So ubo tidbak, another person says, uladafkabo. And it's supposed 3 times. So there's an Indian to be constantly attached to HaKadosh Baruch Hu all the time, even while you're working. That's the way a Jew's supposed to live. That's the way a Jew's supposed to live. That's it. Yeah.
What about, I work for a Kirov organization. I'm the chef and I cook for Shabbat for 20 people. So while I'm cooking, could I wear it? Would it be?
Learn. I mean, if you can learn while you're cooking.
I do. I listen. I mean,
You listen to shiur while
Yeah.
It's excellent.
Wow.
Excellent. Wonderful thing. Wonderful. Yeah.
So what about people who wear 2 tefillin?
No, you don't have to wear 2 all day.
Where does that come from, wearing 2 more than 1?
Because there's a different shita. Rashi, the tefillin that everybody wears is the shita of Rashi, how the parshas have to be arranged. The 4 parshas, how they have to be arranged. His grandson, Rabbeinu Tam, argued with his grandfather, and the parshas have to be arranged differently in the Shalosh. So because of that, and he's one of the Bali Tosfos, Rabbeinu Tam, and he's brought in halacha also. So people honor his opinion as well, and therefore they put on Rabbeinu Tam's tefillin aside from Rashi. The Mekubalim wear both at the same time. Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam, they have small tefillin. Rashi's tefillin in the front, Rabbeinu Tam's tefillin is in the back. They wear both at the same time. That's the best. But if you don't do both at the same time, at least one after the other. At least one after the other.
doesn't matter which one. Like now,
Yeah, of course it matters. Rashi is first.
Rashi's first.
Everyone paskins like to Rashi. That's the Ikan Mitzvah.
Why is Rashi first?
I don't know why he's first. I guess maybe more posts can hold like Rashi than Rabbeinu Tam. I guess more hold. Rabbeinu Tam is still an opinion, not to be discarded completely. So they put Rabbeinu Tam also. Also an opinion. Okay. Now we get into the next topic, next pasuk. Yaakov Avinu got to a certain place, and it says, "Vayikach me'avnei hamakom vayosem merashasav." He had to go to sleep. They didn't have pillows in those days. Maybe they did have, but he didn't have a pillow. We saw one opinion that he was robbed. Esau came and robbed everything from him. So he came penniless. He had nothing. So he comes to a place and he wants to rest and he wants to lie down. So he didn't have a pillow. So he took one of the pillows and put it underneath on one of the stones and put it underneath his head so he had a place to rest his head. This is actually, it's such a beautiful, beautiful way of looking at things. I tell you, it's amazing. It's amazing. There's so much depth in the Torah, and you see it. Look what these words say. He took from the stones of the place, and he put it to his head, or underneath his head. Now, can you think of the concept that these words are trying to sell us? They're trying to sell us an idea.
The makom is already.
Besides the makom, you're right. I also thought about that too. But the avnei, you're very right. You're very right. But vayikach me'avnei hamakom v'yosem merashasav. Let's think for a moment. There are 4 levels of creation. You have what we call how is it? There's a mnemonic device. It's called a thing that's anyway, you have Balei Chayim, you have life. It starts from domain. It starts from inanimate. Then you have Tzomeach, the vegetable world, the growth world. then you have Chai, the living world, which can, the animals, and then you have Midaber, then you have humans. There are 4 levels of creation. The domain, Tzomeach, Chai, Midaber. The highest level, of course, is the Midaber, the speaking. And then above Midaber, you have Am Yisrael, which is within the Midaber. Where do stones fit in? What level of the 4 are stones?
Domain.
Domain. They're inanimate. There's no life that we understand. They don't grow. Stones remain stones. Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. He took from the stones, vayaseh mirash yosav, and he put it to his head, or underneath his head. What does that mean? It means on the surface that he put a stone under his head so he'd have something to lean on, a pillow. It's much, much deeper than that. Much, much deeper than that. Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. Rabbi Yaakov Meir made a good observation. I also thought about it too. He took from the stones and he lifted them up to his head. He's taking from the inanimate and raising it, elevating it to the human use, elevating the lowest and bringing it up to the highest. You hear that, Rabbi say? Not that he's taking a stone as a pillow. He's taking the lowest level of creation. There are 4 levels of creation, right? You start from Midaber, Chai, Someach, and Domen, the lowest level, the inanimate level, that which has no neshama to it. Take that and put it by his head. He wants to elevate the lowest levels of the world and make them higher. That's what the Pasuk is saying on the Hasidic or the Kabbalistic level. And Yaakov Meir pointed out, they also come from Hashem. What is one of the nicknames that they use in the Svarah for Hashem? Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu. You remember that from the Haggadah? Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu. Why is Makom used as a nickname for Hashem? Baruch HaMakom is a Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hu. Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu. Why Makom? Why Makom? Because Hashem is the place. Hashem is the place. The existence of anything that we have really is Hashem. He is the Makom. We see tables, we see chairs, we see trees, we see buildings. It's all a facade. It's all external. It's Hashem is under everything. He is the real place. He's it. The idea of place altogether means something which is sort of in your mind, an area which has some kind of confines. In truth, there is no such thing. Hashem has in some way given us the ability to grasp things and make things have a measurement, make things have limitations so we can deal with them. Because we're also limited. We can't deal with unlimitations. We can't. So we call any place, we call it a makom, because the makom is really Hashem. The fact Hashem made it become diluted and diffused and lowered in a sense, so we have some kind of measurement or limitations that we can handle it. So Baruch HaMakom Baruch Hu. So Vayikach me'avnei hamakom. He took from the stones the lowest level that HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to put into this world, and he put it to his head to elevate it. Says the Baal Shem Tov on that idea. Shemaiti Mimori. This is his Talmud. Kishaba neshama me'atzilas el olam ha'asiyah. Wow. Okay. Now he's going to not the physical world. Now he's going into the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, there are also 4 basic levels. We're saying in the physical world, there are 4 levels. Also, we have the inanimate, we have the vegetable world, of growth, we have the animal world, and then we have the humans. 4. In the spiritual world, we also have 4 basic levels. The highest is called Atzilus. That means from the word Eitzel. It's so close to Hashem that it's almost impossible to grasp. It's called Atzilus. The lower level is called Bria. the level of creation. And that's why it doesn't say Bereshit Ha'etziel HaKadosh Baruch Hu es ha'olam. It doesn't say God emanated the world. Bereshit bara es ha'olam. Bereshit bara es Elokim es Hashemayim v'aretz. The word bria is used. That is a level lower where you already have some kind of grasp of something going on, something taking place. You don't say Bereshit Ha'etziel ha'olam. No. It's too high, too close, too spiritual. No physicality is possible at that level. Where can you have possible physicality? With the olam of Bria. Then you have a lower world of Bria, that means the beginning, the basic elements. After that, you take the basic elements and you put them together and combine them. That's called Yitzira. Yotzer ha'adam, Yotzer or vorei choshech. Hashem didn't say borei. He didn't say, in the beginning it was Bria. Hashem created light. But then afterwards says, we say everything in the morning, Yotzer or vorei choshech. Yotzer. Why? Why is it Yotzer? Because you're taking elements that already exist, existing elements, which were in the olam of Bria, and you're making something out of them. That's Yitzira. The last and the lowest level is called Asiya. That is the level of doing, where things actually are already created and they're already moving and taking place. Now, you have Neshamos of Klal Yisrael. We have to understand this. There are different levels of Neshamos. Some people are born with a higher neshama. They have greater capabilities. That's the way they were born. And some people have lower neshamos. Some people have average neshamos. So where do these neshamos come from? Some come from Atzilus, that level in the spiritual world. Some come from Bria. Some come from Yetzira. Some come from Asiya. Says the Baal Shem Tov, Kishebo neshama me'atzilus el olam ha'asiya. When neshama, which is so high up, like Moshe Rabbeinu's neshama probably, or probably the neshama of the Avos, Avram and Yitzchak and Yaakov, where they had to make new trends in the world, high neshamos.
Came from Yechida.
Huh?
They came from Yechida.
He said from Atzilus. Let's say we came from Atzilus, and they go down to the lower world, and they interact with the world, and they see things that are going on in this world, and they're very, very disturbed by it. Very, very disturbed by it. It's like we have, Am Yisrael, we have a special place in the creation. We were chosen by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Am Yisrael, there are many, many nations in the world, and He chose Klal Yisrael. For whatever reason, I don't know. But we are privileged to be of the chosen people. And we see things in the world which are not the way they're supposed to be. They're not a cover for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. They're not the way, it's not even simple derech eretz. It's not even respectful. We see these things. Can we set ourselves aside and just say, okay, that's the way the world is. What can I do? I can't change the world. Is that the way we're supposed to react? No. That's not the way we're supposed to react. Where do you learn that from? From this pasuk. From this pasuk. Yaakov Avinu. Who knows what kind of neshama he had? He took from the lowest and he wanted to elevate it. He wanted to correct it. That's what he's saying here. When the neshama comes from a high place, when you go down to the lowest worlds and you see all the things that are going on in the kochos of tumah that have an effect in this world, and they cause all kinds of things to happen. And we are observing this. We're observing it. What are we supposed to do after we observe it? Well, first of all, you have to think, do I have the power to make a change? Can I improve the situation? Sometimes you have to realize if you try to do something, you're only going to make it worse. You have to be able to judge and make a proper decision. But many, many times you're not sure, and you say, well, let's try to improve it. Let's try to improve what we're seeing. I come into shul, and I tell you a very simple halacha. Very simple halacha. This is no get to every single one of us here, myself included. I'm not perfect in this either. Hilchos Kedushas Beis HaKnesses. A shul is not another room in a building. A Beis HaKnesses has Kedusha. The Beis HaMikdash was not another building. It had Kedusha. It has a higher level of sanctity, and therefore behavior inside the Beis HaMikdash has to be different than outside the Beis HaMikdash. Behavior inside a Beis HaKnesses has to be different than outside the Beis HaKnesses. Somebody came to me yesterday, it was after Mincha, a Shabbos Mincha, I think it was, he wanted to talk to me about something. I said, and he started to talk to me, I said, let's go outside. Let's go outside. Let's not talk in here. What you have to say is Sicha Chulin. It's different chol. It has nothing to do with mitzvah, it's a kedusha. You want to tell me a story that happened with him with a bus, something. Talk to me outside. It's a halacha in Shulchan Aruch. Sichas Chulin. Sichas Chulin. Everyday mundane talk is not permitted in the Beis HaKnesses. Now we all go to shul. And we know the conversations that people have in shul, before davening, sometimes in the middle of davening, with the tefillin on. If we can make, now this, you have to be very, very careful. You don't want to make enemies, you don't want to insult people, but this is a halacha. This is not the cover of a Beis HaKnesses. I mentioned to you before once, I think I mentioned it to you, I have grandchildren. Sometimes they come to see me in shul, and my instinct is I want to hug my grandchildren and give them a kiss. In front of the Aron Kodesh, my kisses, my emotions are supposed to be directed to Hashem, to nobody else. That's considered adultery. If I would kiss my grandchild, or my son, or another member of my family in shul, I'm an adulterer. How do you kiss somebody else in front of the Aron Kodesh? How do you do such a thing? In front of the Aron Kodesh? You're kissing somebody else, unless it's for a mitzvah. For a mitzvah, something else. But kissing, an expression of love, your expressions of love in a Beis HaKnesses, only to the Sefer Torah, only to a Kodesh Baruch.
What did you mean saying, except for the mitzvah?
If a person does a mitzvah, and you express your love for him, for he's doing the mitzvah, that's considered also part of the, avodas Hashem. That's all right. But not to kiss a person just because of your simple love for him, because he's a friend of yours, or he's a family member, that not. But for a tzarech mitzvah, okay, that's
What about the mother?
same thing. In a shul, it's a different area, it's a different atmosphere. You're now in a Mokom Kadosh, it's Hashem's house. In Hashem's house, you have to do things which are honorable to Hashem, which respectful to Him. So I just gave you an example of things that we see on a daily basis.
And dress.
Huh?
And dress.
Of course.
Respectfully.
Of course. You make a very good point, Yaakov Meir. How do you go dressed when you come? I see people come in with torn pants and torn shirts and all kinds of things. You go into a Makom Kadosh, you go into a king's palace. Would you dress with dirty clothes? How would you dress when you go? This is what the pasuk says. Vayikach me'av ne'hamakom. You go down to the lowest place. You have to elevate. Our job is to make improvements in the world. Tikkun olam. That's what this pasuk is saying. Vayikach me'av ne'hamakom. V'yosem me'reshasav. Anything that you see that is lower, that can be elevated, can be heightened, and can be put into a higher level, that's our job. And Yaakov did it. Vayikach. He took from the stones, and he tried to put up to his head to elevate it and make it serve a Jew who serves Hashem. If this stone now is going to be a pillow for me, the stone is now doing a mitzvah because I'm a servant of Hashem and he's helping me serve Hashem. He's giving me rest so I can serve Hashem better. So now this stone is doing a mitzvah. Before it was just lying there, doing nothing. I'm now giving the stone the opportunity to do a mitzvah. And this stone was also created for Hashem. What for? The whole world was created for service of God's Baruch Hu. So therefore, that's our job to do also.
Yes. Can you repeat the exact words about the neighbor? Vayikach me'avnei hamakom
Vayosem Midrash Rechavia.
v'yaseh me'rashov.
No. And he put it by his head.
What if if we know that they were Even Shetia, we say they were Even Shesia.
I mean, about the Zohar.
Even Shetia, they were Even Shesia, the grounding of the earth.
Well, he knew, no, so what? So what?
So it was not only elevating, but from the Even Shetia, he was also taking.
Right, but he's talking stuff. I've never about from stuff. Evidency, you know what evidency is, where they are with that. Okay. There's another point that he mentions over here regarding this idea. You have to also appreciate if you see things which are very, very antithetical to the Torah, people who are not behaving as they are, you also have to be grateful at that time that you're not part of them. If you can elevate them, of course, that's the thing to do, to elevate them and to try to make a tikkun. At the same time, you have to be very, very grateful that you're not part of that group. You're not doing that. You have to realize, you have to appreciate also that you are on a higher level. You show that appreciation. To realize, don't take yourself for granted. You appreciate yourself better when you see other people who are much, much slower than you and doing much worse things than you. Oh, thank God it's not me. I'm not like that. Thank God for that. But after you thank God for that, then you have to try and say, maybe I can show them the way. In the best way, I try to elevate them. That's what even we have to look. Okay, we're going to do one more piece. We have a few more minutes left. Let me see if anything else on this part that I left out. Yeah, he says it this way. He says, we also learned the lesson from these people. It doesn't actually mean a chain, but people can have stones, hearts of stone, that they can't, hear what you're saying. They're hearts of stone. You can't get through to them. So there, you have to be very thankful that you're not part of those people, that you have an open heart and be willing to hear. But okay, that's also just another word. Fine. All right, the next thing we're going to end off with that is the following. What did he see? He had a dream. When he went to sleep, Yaakov had a dream. He saw in his dream, a ladder, which was wedged into the ground. Varosho Magia Hashemayim. This is very cute. It's very cute. The word sulam, let's take a look. What's the gematria of the word sulam? Samach is 60, right? Lamed is 30, is 90. Then you have the mem at the end. So you have 90 and 40 is 130. Then you have the vav, 136. Sulam is 136. What is the gematria of the word mamon? 40 and 40, two mems is 80. And then the yud at the end, 80 and 50 is 130. And then you have a vav, 136. Sulam and mamon have the same gematria. Sulam mutzam arza. I see a ladder wedged into the ground. Varosho magia shemayim, but the head of the ladder, the top of the ladder is at shemayim. V'in malach elokim olim v'yordim bo. And on this ladder, Yaakov was dreaming there are malachim, some going down, some going up. Says the Baal Shem Tov, momo. The word money, momo, is the same gematria as sulam. So a sulam could be mutzam arza. You can have money, which is down here, but rosho magia shemayim. And Malach Elokim Olim v'Yordim bo. We are the Malachim. We are sent down here. We are shlichim to use the money in the right way and to use it to go up to Shemayim, and not those who come down with the money and they leave it down here and they don't use it for a mitzvah.
Nice.
Okay, we'll stop with that today. That's it.
Hello.